Hello and welcome to our kitchen here at Mountain Patriot Homestead. We are in full swing for preparations for Thanksgiving, and I had a perhaps new recipe for you that I would like for you to try and let me know what you think. If you like a little salty, you like a little sweet, this might be the pie for you. Now this is one reason why I don't share a whole lot of cooking videos with you. My kitchen is kind of small and it's really not set up to film out of. So it's going to seem a little awkward as I show this to you, but I hope you bear with me and we'll get through this. I want to share this recipe with you so you can try it and then let me know what you think. So this is called Texas trash pie. Now I know that is like the worst marketing campaign name of anything that I can think of, because you know, we generally, anything with the word trash in the name of it, you don't really think about eating it. But this, I think, rather than calling it kitchen sink pie because you're throwing everything in but the kitchen sink, it was just, you know, Texas trash pie, because it takes a little bit of all types of ingredients that are going to come together in this rather unusual pie, but for some reason the flavors just really work. Does anybody like salt on their watermelon? You know, you little salty, little sweet, and for some reason it just makes the flavors come out. I don't usually put salt on my watermelon, but I know most people really like it that way. But in some things I do like that salty sweet flavor. So this just seems to work. So let's go ahead with this recipe, and you let me know and down in the comments if you're going to try this. So ingredients are really easy. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here, so bear with me. The ingredients are really easy. I need a knife to open this because I just don't have the hand strength anymore. Anybody else have that issue? If I can do this without cutting my hand off, it'll be really great too. But the ingredients here are really simple. I'm using, this is semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you could use whatever type of chocolate chips are your favorite. If you like milk chocolate, if you like special dark, I've actually got some special dark and thought about, I'm going to move that a little closer. Does that make it any easier? But whatever type of chocolate chips you like best, you can try in this. There's a lot of things that you can interchange in this recipe that would make it good. So don't be afraid to experiment with your recipes, but that was 1 cup of chocolate chips. And the next thing is some caramel bits. Do you say caramel, caramel? How do you pronounce that? You know, we come from so many different places around the country, around the world. We all pronounce, and I'll tell you, I don't pronounce the same things the same way twice, so you may hear me pronounce it caramel and the next time say caramel. So, but I'll be able to make another pie with the stuff that I'm wasting on the counter. But I had never seen these before, but they are just little pieces of caramel, just however you pronounce it. But these are just little pieces and melt easier, and you don't have to take the time to cut them up and that sort of thing. But it's just a cup of those. Just add that in there with those chocolate chips. And the next thing is going to be, that was a cup of chocolate chips, a cup of the caramel bits. Now if you don't have the caramel bits and you've got just regular caramel, you can chop it up and do the same thing. It's going to be a little stickier, maybe a little messier, but You know, I don't know about you, but rarely am I perfect when I go about making things in my kitchen. As you can already tell, because I've done made a bigger mess on the counter, then it don't do me any good to do guest cleaning, because before the guests get here, the house is going to be a mess again anyway. So a cup of chocolate chips, a cup of the caramel bits, and my hands are clean, folks. I promise you, I do wash my hands before I get in here and start cooking. Cup of coconut. Sorry about that. Cup of coconut. And you see me looking off over here? I am cheating. I do have a recipe written down over here because I'm not going to rely on my mind to remember any of this stuff, because I'm liable to leave out the most important part. So I am looking over here to make sure that I'm putting everything in here that I need to, except my finger. I'm trying to keep my finger out of there. If any of y'all watch my grocery hauls, you're probably recognizing a lot of these ingredients as things that I've been telling you I was stocking up for holiday cooking. A lot of these things are things that I've already had in my pantry for this, you know, for this holiday, so that way I'm not caught having to spend a whole lot more than I normally would. And these are those pecan bits that I had in that recent grocery haul where they're already chopped up, and this calls for, let me make sure I'm not putting too many. Nope, calls for a cup of chopped pecans, and because these are, that was a little bit more than a cup, but hey, it's pecans. Can you go wrong with pecans? But look how fine those are already chopped up. Now you could do the same thing. You could take whole pecans and you could chop them up in a food processor or whatever. But I mean, these are already chopped up, and it was $1.99 for that big package of them. And I've got enough in here probably for a cookie recipe. As a matter of fact, the stuff that I've got left over in some of these others, I may make up some little mini pies. I've got those little mini pie crusts that I also got here a while back at Bent Dent. And so I may get them out, and with these leftovers that I'm going to have, put them in some of them little mini pies. Wouldn't that be good? That'd be a good gift. You know, if you wanted to give out something to the neighbors, that and some cookies and fudge and that sort of thing. You know, that's my mind's working. All right, the next thing is some pretzels. We're not going to tell my husband I done got off in his pretzel stash, because he's a little territorial over them pretzels. Only person he really shares his pretzels with is the dog. And she don't like them, she spits them out, but she'll take them just because they're from Daddy, and then she'll spit them out. Normally. Alright. Not sure exactly how many of these I'm going to need to make a cup. Can you see a pattern here about it's a cup, a cup, a cup? And, you know, I could have drug out the food processor, but, you know, this is kind of, you want to get out some frustrations. You know, just kind of do this. Kind of feels good. You ain't beating nobody over the head or nothing, but, you know. Alright. Now, I kind of laughed when I read the recipe, and it said, make sure that you use original flavored pretzels. Don't use like some odd flavored pretzel. Don't use garlic parmesan flavored pretzels. That might be a little bit more of a flavor twist than I would want to submit to, but let's see if I guessed pretty close. Well, pretty close. Another little bit, and I think maybe too much. Another little bit, and I think I'll have enough there. So let's just go. There's, that ought to make it pretty near perfect. First, close enough. Oh yeah, there we go. That's good. That is good. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing. The last ingredient like this is, I'm sorry, I'm talking away from the camera. You probably can't hear me. You learned that in that acting class of don't talk away from the audience, but apparently I didn't pay much attention in acting class. But the last ingredient of the dry nature is graham crackers, and I'm just going to do the same thing with them. Just going to crumble them up. Did you know you can buy these things? You can buy graham crackers already crumbed up. I guess that's for people that don't want to do this. But for the price difference, and no longer than it took me to do that, I'll crumb my own. You know, there's sometimes I'm lazy, but I don't think I got that lazy. Well, most times. All right. All right, a little bit more in a cup, but you know, I think if I've done that, look, perfect cup, perfect cup. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to use my hands right now. I'm just mixing in these dry ingredients. I'll switch over here in a minute when I get the wet stuff in there, because I really don't want my hands in the wet stuff. I'm going to move these out of the way so it'll be noisy for just a second. Put those pretzels back before he notices they're gone. All right, now I have got, this is 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now, I don't think that it would matter a hill of beans if you use salted or unsalted butter, because it might just make it a hair more salty, but not enough that it's going to be that noticeable. Because, you know, your pretzels already add just a little bit of salt in it. So this is going to add just a little bit of salt, but this is unsalted. But if it were salted, it would add just a tiny bit. But again, I don't think enough for it to matter. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I'm wrong about a lot of things, and I don't like real salty stuff, but I think this is going to be okay. Now, the last ingredient, the very last thing, is 14 ounces, and I'm not advertising for any certain brand. That I had this because it was on sale. I got this at the Benton Dent. And this is fat-free sweetened condensed milk. You can use the whole fat stuff. It's okay. This is just, the reason I have it is because it cost me a lot less than what I could have got it at the other stores. Oh, I just thought of something. I have some of that dulce de leche condensed milk stuff there in the cabinet. If I'd have thought about that, I'd have used that in place of this, because, oh boy, I bet that'd be good. I didn't think about that. Now I make this again. I'm going to try that. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have used a pretty good size. This is a full-size mixing bowl. You wouldn't want to try one of them little old baby bowls, you know, them little bitty mixing bowls. I don't even know why they make little bitty mixing bowls. I guess if you're going to scramble up some eggs or something, but, you know, if you're mixing up something that amounts to anything, I've got to have some room in there to stir it around. I watch some of these cooking channels where they'll fill pots right up to the very rim of it and stir it around. And I'm sitting there going, I'd be cleaning the stove for a week because I'd make a mess. It'd be all over the, it'd be everywhere. All right, so I am just stirring this around, mixing it up good because it's going to look kind of dry. But as this cooks, remember, those little caramel bits are going to start melting, those chocolate chips are going to start melting, and everything's just going to start gluing together. All them crumbs and pecans, and let me tell you something about those pecans. I know pecans are high. The only reason I have any pecans in this house is I found those at Benton Den on sale, because them things are high. But if you don't have pecans in your counter, in your shelf, you don't have to use pecans. If you've got any other kind of nut, if you've got walnuts, if you've got hickory nuts, if you've got peanuts, but what if you don't have any nuts at all? Well, you know what's a pretty good little substitute that would give you kind of about the same texture. I say same texture. It wouldn't maybe give you exactly the same texture, but it's a pretty good substitute for nuts. And that is oats. You know, using some oats in there. But there's so many different things. What if you don't have pretzels? What if you didn't have pretzels, but you had Ritz crackers? You know, Ritz crackers are salty and sweet together, so why couldn't you use them in place of the pretzels? You know, think of, if you don't have something that's the exact ingredient in a recipe, you know, think about it and look around, because you might have something that you can make that with anyway. All right, do you see how I've got that all good and mixed up? Let me show you there. See how that's mixed up? I mean, it's not all glued together, but it will be. When it gets good and hot in that 350-degree oven, and it cooks for 40 to 45 minutes, it's going to be stuck together. It's all going to be melted, and it's going to be good and gooey, and you're going to want to let it cool for a little bit, because if not, you ain't going to have a roof of your mouth or tongue left, because it's going to be like lava when it comes out of there. But it's going to be good. I'm just betting that. And if you know what? I'm kind of the way, even if it ain't good, I'm probably going to eat it anyway, because I ain't throwing out all this stuff. But I know this is going to be good. So I'm just kind of going to move this out of the way so I can slide this down. I don't make the prettiest pie crust in the world. My pie crusts are never pretty. And I'm just happy if they hold together and don't split apart when I'm trying to get them in the pie plate. But anyway, I've got all this stuff just mashed down in there. See, that don't look bad. That don't look bad. Use that. I don't want to waste none of that good stuff. Alright. Okay. Well, I am fixing to put it in the oven, and I'm going to have it in there. Use my apron there for a minute. I'm going to put it in the oven for 40-45 minutes until I'm satisfied that it's ready. Then I'm going to pull it out, and we'll have to let it cool for a little bit, and then we'll give it a taste test. What do y'all think? We'll be back in just a little bit. Oh my goodness, I have just taken this out of the oven, and just look at that. You can see those little pecans and pretzels and chocolate chips and coconut and caramel bits and just a little bit of all kinds of goodness. I am going to have to wait though to test this because I can feel the heat rolling off of there. Right now, I wouldn't have a tongue left if I tried to taste this. So give it just a little bit and we'll try it. All right, I got it out of the oven. I let it cool off a little bit, probably not as long as I should let it cool off, and couldn't find my pie spatula thing. Can't think what you call it right this second, but anyway, couldn't find that. But so it kind of made a mess as I was getting it out because I dug it out with a fork. However, just look at all, can you see that? Can you see all that little melty goodness in there? Just, oh my goodness, look at this. Look at all that melty, gooey goodness. All right, that's a moment of truth. Let's see. Oh. Trying to speed up the chewing here, but oh, okay. All right. Here we go. I love pie. I love fudge. I love pecan pie. I love coconut pie. And I'm telling you, I cannot just taste the pretzel in there. I can get a little hint of the salt. And I don't mean, oh, that tasted salty. Not that. Just a hint of, just enough salt to make that chocolate go pow. And then there's that caramel in there. And now this is kind of, I'm not trying to exaggerate. You know, a lot of people do the, dances and all that. Well, first of all, I'm not going to do that and embarrass myself on video more than I already do. But I will tell you, I'll be making this pie again. And I have to give credit where credit's due. This is not my recipe. This was originally made by Royer's, and I hope I pronounced that right, Royer's Round Top Cafe in Round Top, Texas. And so this is a cafe recipe, and it had such good reviews that I had to try it. And I tell you, if this is not my favorite pie now, I just need another taste, another bite, just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure this is now officially my favorite pie. Yeah, officially my favorite pie. Texas trash pie. Call me trashy if you want to. Nothing trashy about it. Good pie. I'll put the recipe down in the description below. Try this for yourself. If you like the ingredients that were in there, try these together. I'm telling you, with a big glass of milk or a hot cup of coffee. Wow. I'm not sure. I really feel bad. I should have waited on my kids to get here before I dug into the desserts, but sorry kids, love y'all. I'll leave you some. See you soon. And I love y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Try this recipe because seriously, I honestly think this is my favorite pie. Until the next one. But try this recipe, let me know what you think about it, and I'll be talking to you again real soon. Mountain Patriot Homestead, signing out.